Hi, this is Rashuit with a review of the Kyrie Low 2. This is a fantastic pair of Nike's basketball shoes. Uh, Actually, haven't been a big fan of Nike shoes as of late. They have been pumping out one disappointment after another, including some of their top tier signature shoes. This one, the Kyrie 2 Low, is surprisingly good overall. It's hard to find flaws in it. It looks like a Pegasus runner at a glance. I love this little exaggerated heel. It's good for grabbing more surfaces while you're struggling for positions or moving around to dribble around your defender. And this exaggerated Achilles heel pad is awesome. It's a lot like the ones they use in Adidas. They frequently try and have an exaggerated one like this, but it's a straight line. It's not ergonomic at all, but this one is. So that is fantastic. The heel cup is there. It provides necessary clutch fit and support. These little lateral plastic piece, not heavy, and the one in the medial side is connected all the way to the mid portion of the foot, so it provides a firmer lockdown, and there are some lace loop options there. It's very much reminiscent of the Lillard 3, but the Lillard 3 had a funky design where it kind of shaved into your ankle a little bit because it went all the way up there, and this one has none of that problem, so that is fantastic. The Kyrie Low ones had a problem in terms of cushioning, in my opinion, because they do not have a heel to toe drop. Rather, they had a toe to heel drop. The cushioning, or rather the thickness of the midsole, was either straight or a little bit more sunken at the heel than in the forefoot. So you had this funky feeling of being a little bit elevated on the forefoot when you're playing basketball. That is fatal for your feet and for you in terms of trying to utilize your speed to the best of your ability. And when you do not have a proper heel to toe drop, it'll hurt you. It'll have a strain on your foot. It could affect your Achilles tendon, your ankle, and it could lead to some other problems, foot-related problems, especially when you're always moving. The midsole of the Kyrie Low 1 was extremely hard, reminiscent of the Soldier 10. The Soldier 10 and the Kyrie Low 1 had both zoom airs in the heel and the forefoot, but you couldn't feel it at all. So that's because of the extreme density or the denseness of the midsole. But for Kyrie Low 2, they used something much softer. So you can see the wrinkles forming, the crease forming when I'm pressing even with my fingertips. And you wear it, you can immediately feel it out of the box. The zoom air is there. And if you were to remove the insole, you will find a very thick ortholite insole that is not going to break down or disintegrate. You can feel it's the same one they used in the Hyperdunk. I think it was the 2016s, the ones with React. For the Hyperdunks, this insole was basically 30 to 40% of the overall cushioning. So that's how much of an impact this has. For the Kyrie Low 2s, even without the insole, if you were to remove it and put your feet in there and try to lace up and play ball, you could do it without any problem because it has that much of an adequate midsole cushioning and the properly located zoom bag. The zoom bags are just rectangular ones, so they're not the biggest ones out there, but they do the job. They get the job done, and it's isolated in a nice way that the zoom is right under your foot, under the insole and the strobel board, so you can feel it. The heel one does a good job of maintaining a certain level of elevation and then impact protection when you're landing on it. The forefoot is a lot softer to the touch, so when you're pressing on it, when you're on your toes playing defense or making those cuts or drastic movements, it supports you without bottoming out totally or just completely requiring a lot more force for it to compress. So it compresses a lot more easily and more responsibly. So that is great. And as for these little lateral support rubbery plastic type of coating here, usually this one is here and it eats up your pinky a little bit, but this design is a lot better because it doesn't get in the way, but it gets the job done. And speaking of support, the midsole, rather the midfoot part is actually quite wide. The forefoot portion is quite wide, and you can see that this whole chunk acts as an outrigger, so it prevents you from rolling your ankles. The thing about the Kyrie is they usually have a very rounded outsole, so they feel, I mean, it's good for movements, but it feels kind of unstable. So this one had the best of both worlds. It looks flat, right? But the edges are rounded up just nice, so that you have a lot more court grip, whichever side you're moving towards or moving from. Especially on the medial side, it's all the way up here, very exaggerated for those drastic crossovers or cuts. The upper is a bit of a knit material. It's pretty thick, and it's got an extra spiderweb kind of reinforcement layer on top of it, so it's very stable. It's soft yet stable. It's not very well ventilated. Ventilation is not this shoe's strong suit. The toe box has another extra thick plastic-like fused coating to ensure this high abrasion area is well protected, so that you'll have a little bit of layer protection for this fabric material on top. What else can I talk about it? It weighs about slightly less than 400 grams for a size 10, so that's extremely light. It feels a little bit heavy out of the box because you see a runner and then you feel it, and it's heavy for a runner but light for a basketball shoe. You'll see the Kyrie number 11. I don't know, he's going to be wearing 11, and when he moves to his new team, we'll have to wait and see. Not a big fan of Kyrie. He's a great player. I'm not a big fan of his. He's kind of a locker room cancer in some sense. He needs a lot of. I think he has a lot of growing up to do in many ways. Great player, great scorer. Not a good teammate. Anyway, the shoes, it's good. It's down to basics. It provides what you need, and the cushioning is very adequate, if not very good. The lace loops come all the way down closer to the toe box, so it provides a lot more firmer grip and lockdown once you lace them up. Sometimes basketball shoes these days, the lace loops start way on top, so the toe box and the forefoot area tend to be a little bit unstable. So this is great. It's hard to find flaws in this shoe, especially with the price point being fairly low, slightly over $100. So, yeah, looking forward to more of the Kyrie Low series if they continue to go this direction. The outsole, I forgot about that. These little nodules, they're very much reminiscent of the Kobe 360s, but these are a lot more durable than the Kobe 360s. At least in terms of the thickness of individual nodules and the number of nodules as well, and the length of the nodules. So that is good. It's got a good grip on court. The traction is not going to be a problem at all. If not, it's going to be one of the top 5 tractions of the year. I wish there would have been a decoupling in the midfoot area a little bit. That's something that I always prefer, but then I suppose it's to cut costs in production. It is a fantastic shoe. In terms of cushioning, traction, it's hard to find a flaw in this particular basketball shoe, the Kyrie Low 2. The fit, this one is called the EP, as in the fit is for wide footers. So this one you could go true to size. But if it's a regular Kyrie Low 2, you might want to go up half a size, unless you have a very narrow feet. Go up half a size, or a full size even. For the EPs, you can go with the regular size, or maybe half a size up. Or if you're a wide footer, if you have very narrow feet and you get the EPs, go down half a size.